Hello, we are looking at inverses and exponentials. So, we did an exploration of this function, and in fact, I have a graphical calculator, so let me go ahead and just pull this up for you. We looked at, there it is right there. Y is equal to 2 to the x. So we graphed it, and that's what we ended up with. And we actually graphed the table and the inverse table, and we looked at what that figure looked like. And we're going to look at it again. So first of all, the opposite, or undoing an exponential, is a log. Why do we say that? If I were to rewrite this so that this is all by itself and it's kind of been undone, I would have log base 2 of y is equal to x. So again, logs is really kind of the undoing of the exponentials. You only need logs if you want to kind of get at this guy, solve for that guy up there. So, write an equation that represents the inverse of this. Well, the inverse of this, if you recall, is the switching of the x and the y. So if I do that, I get this. Problem is, I need to get y all by itself. So I go ahead and I snail it. Log base 2, the base of the log is the base of the exponent. So this is what it is that we have. So this is the actual inverse of this. So if I graph that, what do we say? Log base 2 of x, which you don't know yet, but I do, is I have to actually do the log of x divided by the log of 2. That will enable me to figure out what it looks like. And then when I graph it, as you can see, I get this inverse graph here. So if I were to kind of fold these over on each other, they all nicely match up. So this is the inverse to it. The other way of kind of looking at it is if I want to undo that, I do log base 2 of y, of x, sorry. And that kind of undoes it. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the next one. For the next one, we learned 2 ways of finding an inverse, writing out the steps and reversing them, and then switching the x and y to solve algebraically. So, me personally, I prefer the x and the y because it helps me, especially with logs that I don't feel that comfortable with, in terms of how to undo them and move them and whatever. You kind of have to live in this world of rules with these guys. Is I like to go ahead and put the, x, we'll say switch x and y. We'll look at both, but this is what I feel more comfortable with, so I'm going to do that. So again, I know when I feel very comfortable with that the inverse is the switching of the x and y. So if I switch them, I then am supposed to get y all by itself. So the first thing I would need to do is move the free. And then I rewrite this as an exponential, which becomes 4 to the x minus 3 is equal to y. Now, the part I am less comfortable with, but you might be more comfortable with, so I will look at it with you, is this idea of undoing things. So we know we have to undo that, which would be x minus 3. And then we need to undo the log. And to undo the log, you write it as an exponential, and the base of the log always has to be the base of the exponential. So that's what we would get. It is the same as we got over here, but you have to kind of understand how to undo the log. And the opposite of writing the log is as exponential. So, whichever your choice, we'll go ahead and do a few of these guys down here. So, let's see. We'll do one of these, a couple 2-steppers, and this one. And this one. We'll do a few. So, for this one here, again, I feel more comfortable with switching the x and the y, and then going from there. So I write it as the log. So log base 10 of x is equal to 2y. Now, do you see that y is still not by itself? So I do need to actually get rid of the 2, which would be division of 2. So that would be my answer. Let's go ahead and look at this one here. Again, little same spiel here. So I need to do my undoing here. So we have, oh, whoops, sorry. Change my x and my y. And then I have log base 2 of x equals y minus 4. I still need to get y by itself, so what do I need to do? I need to add 4. So I'm going to do log base 2 of x. I'm going to put that in parentheses because when I add the 4, I want to make sure it's clear that I'm not adding a 4 to the thing that is being logged. Alright, let's look at this one. My first step, I actually need to move that one first. So with the x and the y, switch them. So I'm going to move that first. I get x minus 4 equals 6 to the y. And then I rewrite them as log base 6 of x minus 4 is equal to y. Alright, one last one here. I need to move this first before I can undo the log. So let's change this to a y and this to an x. So I have x plus 3 equals log base 2 of 4y. I write it as an exponential. 2 to the x plus 3 is equal to 4y. And my last thing I do is divide by 4. I can't divide this before I do my exponent, so I actually do it just like that. All right.